तमेव लोकशङ्करं नमामि शङ्करं गुरुं नमामि शङ्करं गुरुं नमामि शङ्करं गुरुं
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। वागीशाद्याः सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्यास्युस्तन्नमामि गजाननं। शारदा शारदाम्भोजवदना वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं क्रियात्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शास्त्राब्धिपारदृश्वानं सङ्गहीनं तपोनिधिं भजे श्रीभारतीतीर्थगुरुं भद्रौघदायकं। विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विधुशेखरभारतीम्। With Ashtanga Pranamas to the Padapadmas of the Ubhaya Jagadgurus. As per the orders of the Jagadguru, starting today, we will be commencing a series titled Punyabhumi Sringeri, discussing the hallowed history of this kshetra from Vibhandaka Maharshi and Rishi Shranga Maharshi until the current Jagadgurus of the Pitha, Jagadguru Shri Bharati Tirtha Mahasannidhanam and Jagadguru Shri Vidhushekhara Bharati Sannidhanam. The name that the Jagadguru has given for this series, that is to say Punyabhumi Sringeri, is itself an indicator of the topics that will be covered. Punyabhumi. So when we say the word Punya, there is a very specific meaning attached to that word. Puyate anena iti punyam. That which brings about purity, that which brings about cleanliness of the mind and the body is called punya. So that kshetra, that place that is punya for people that come to it, that place that gives purity to those who reside in it, that place that causes peace to those who reside in it is called a Punyabhumi. It is our fortune that Bharatvarsha is in itself a Punyabhumi. Starting from Kashmir down to Kanyakumari, from Rameshwara up to the Himalayas, from east to west, all parts of this Bharatvarsha are a Punyabhumi. There is no place here that is not purified by the presence of some devata. There is no place here that has not been trod. There is no land here that has not been trod by some sadhu. And there is no place here where we cannot find dharmatmas and punyatmas residing. So while the whole of India itself is a Punyabhumi, based on the various tapas that has gone on in certain places, based on the histories of certain places, within Bharatvarsha itself some places are designated as Punyabhumis in a more Vishesha way. So when we talk about such holy sites, we often hear two words, Tirtha and Kshetra. We usually use these two interchangeably, but the two have slightly different connotations. The word Tirtha comes from the Tridhatu, Tarati Papam Anena, that by which Papa is crossed, that by which sin is overcome, that by which the suffering born of Papa is overcome. Such a place is called a Tirtha. So the Kosha is also giving us many more meanings of the word Tirtha. Tirtham Shastradhara Kshetropayopadhyaya Mantrishu. Shastram Tirtham Shastra Adhara Kshetra Upaya Upadhyaya Mantrishu. So these are all the meanings, the nanarthas that are given for the word Tirtha. The word Tirtha is used to mean Shastra. The word Tirtha is used to mean Adhara, a yajna. In the same way, an Upaya, a means to an end. Upadhyaya, a teacher, is also used. A teacher is also one of the meanings of the word Tirtha. And Mantri, a minister of the king, is also one of the meanings of the word Tirtha. But in the middle of all of this, we also have the word Kshetra. So a site, a holy place is also meant by the word Tirtha. But usually in Shastra and in Puranas and in the Vangmaya of Sanatana Dharma, in the literature of Sanatana Dharma, we usually see that the word Tirtha is used to mean any holy site associated with a water body. So it could be a lake, a river, a stream, or an ocean. These are all called Punyatirthas. So a site of a water body that causes purification to those who come in contact with it. This is a Tirtha. In the same way, we have the word Kshetra. Usually in Sanskrita, the word Kshetra refers to a field, any field that is suitable for the sowing of crops. So we can take this meaning also in the sense that when we go to a punyakshetra, we sow the seeds of our punya karmas there. Whatever punya acharanas that we do, whatever anusthana that we do, we sow the seeds of that karma in that holy site. And because of the efficacy of that site, because of the efficacy of that place, that later will become a bountiful crop of sukha and shreyas. So in this sense, we can say that the word kshetra can refer to holy sites. But generally speaking, any place where there is a Vishesha Devata Sannidhya, any place where a Devata is located, any place where tapas has been committed, any place where tapas has been observed, is usually called a kshetra. And this aside, in the Kalika Purana, we have one paribhasha there as to what a kshetra means. Chirattu kamado devaha nachirad yatra jnanadaha tat kshetramiti lokeshu gadyate purvavandibhihi. This is one shloka that we find in the Kalika Purana. What is the meaning of this shloka? That place, yatra, where the devaha, the devata that is located there, a place where the devata is chirattu kamadaha. It may take time for the devata to grant the desires of bhaktas there. But nachirad yatra jnanadaha, if properly worshipped, if properly propitiated, the devata will very quickly give jnana. The devata's nature is to give jnana before kama. That is the speciality. So such a kshetra, tat kshetram, tat kshetramiti lokeshu gadyate. So such a site is called a kshetra. A place where the devata will give jnana and in due course of time will later give kama, will later grant desires. That place is called a kshetra. So it is our fortune that this Sringeri Kshetra, located in the western Ghats in Karnataka, is both a Kshetra and a Tirtha. It is a Tirtha in the sense that we have the very holy Tunga Nadi flowing by. The Tunga Nadi that was born of Varaha. So one name that we see for Tunga in the Puranas is, or for Tunga Bhadra in the Puranas, is Varahi. So as per Puranic lore, we see that after Bhagavan Mahavishnu, in the form of the Adivaraha, Yajnavaraha, having killed Hiranyaksha and restored the earth, restored Bhudevi to her proper place, in order to take some rest, he came to the Sahya Parvatas here and rested there. The sweat flowing from his left and right tusks became Tunga and Bhadra, which later merged to become Tungabhadra. So such a divine river is flowing here, that river that is called Tungabhadra and Varahi. We will discuss the significance and the purity of this river in further episodes. So such a river is flowing by. In the same way, there is a Devata here that grants Jnana. As we all know, 12 centuries ago, the incarnation of Parameshwara, Jagadguru Srimad Adi Shankara Bhagavat Padacharya, walked this earth. The Jagadguru took birth in Kalati, in present-day Kerala near Kochi. At the age of 8, the Acharya took sannyasa, went to the great yogi Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya, who was then performing tapas on the banks of the Narmada river. Having obtained sannyasa from that Acharya, Shankaracharya Bhagavat Pada then spent his very short lifespan of just 32 years traveling the entire course of Bharatvarsha, conducting debates with other darshanikas, with other philosophers, establishing that Advaita is the Tatparya of the Vedas and Upanishads, removing tamasic practices, installing sattvic practices, doing pratishthas and punapratishthas of many devatas across the span of the subcontinent, and eventually Bhagavatpada left his mortal frame in Kedarnath and eventually merged with his true nature, which was Parameshwara himself, Paramashiva himself. So that Bhagavat Pada, in the course of his Vijaya Yatra across Bharatvarsha, came to Sringeri, and here, with the help of the Vanadurga mantra, established Sharada Parameshwari, who is the Adhishthana Devata of Brahmavidya. So each Vidya has a Devata that is conducive to the obtainment of that Vidya. So each Vidya is presided over, not just each Vidya, every object in this universe is presided over by some Devata or the other. The Adhishthana Devata, the Devata that presides over Brahmavidya and all other Vidyas to boot, is Sharada Parameshwari. So that Sharada Devi is established here in Sringeri by Bhagavad Pada himself. So then Sharada Devi was established in a Chandana Murti, in a sandalwood Vigraha, and then in due course of time, Jagadguru Shri Vidyaranya Mahaswami then later did Kalakarshana and transferred that Chaitanya of Devi into the golden Murti, the Suvarna Murti that we see today. So this Kshetra, this is a Kshetra because it has the Sannidhya of Sharada Devi who gives Jnana, and it is also a Tirtha because the Tunga river is flowing in the vicinity of this Kshetra. However, the purity of this Kshetra did not start with Jagadguru Srimad Adi Shankara Bhagavat Pada Acharya, but it rather started before Bhagavat Pada, several yugas before Bhagavat Pada. In Treta Yuga, we know that there was a great sage called Rishyashrunga Maharshi who was instrumental in performing the Putrakameshti Yaga for Dasharatha Maharaja, through which Sri Ramachandra was born. So that Rishyashrunga Maharshi performed tapas here. Rishyashrunga Maharshi's father, Vibhandaka Maharshi, also performed tapas here. Both of these Maharshis are stalwarts in their own right. They belong to the Vamsha of Kashyapa Prajapati. So Vibhandaka Maharshi being the son of Kashyapa Maharshi, and Rishyashrunga Maharshi being the grandson of Kashyapa Maharshi. That Kashyapa Vamsha has done tapas here in Sringeri. So it is not just Puranic lore, but it is the experience of many people to this day that in places such as this, where immense tapas has been performed by Siddha Purushas, that Anushtanas done to this day by sadhakas find fruit very quickly. So wherever it is that our Purvajas, the Rishis of the past, the Siddha Purushas of the past have performed tapas, a location that has been purified by that tapas will grant Siddhi even more quickly to future generations that perform Anushtanas there and that do sadhana there. So such a Kshetra is this Sringeri Kshetra, and we can see that doing Anushtana here and doing sadhana here will very quickly give us Manashuddhi, Chitta Shuddhi, purity of the mind. And in honesty, it is this purity of the mind that is the goal of all Kshetra Yatras and Tirtha Yatras. Why is it that we should go to Kshetras and Tirthas? What is the goal? Bhagavad Pada says in Prashnottara Ratnamalika, Kim Tirtham Apicha Mukhyam. What is a true Tirtha? Is it a place that has a very old temple? Is it a place that is sought after by many good people? Is it a place where Jnanis reside? What is truly a Tirtha? To which Bhagavad Pada gives us the answer, Chittamalam yan nivartayati. That place that gets rid of Chitta doshas, that is a Tirtha. Our mind, because this human birth is born of Punya and Papa, our mind has both Punya and Papa tendencies in it. That is the nature of the mind. There is no normal mind of a human that is 100% Punya. There is no normal mind of a normal human that is 100% Papa. Generally speaking, for Laukikas, the mind is a mix of Shubha and Ashubha Vasanas. So, it is our duty, if we wish to progress in sadhana, to remove the Papa Vasanas, the Ashubha Vasanas, and inculcate Sadvasanas or Shubha Vasanas. So, these are all the impurities of the mind need to be removed. These we can see are usually called the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, what is usually called the Arishadvarga. But this aside, there are usually only, if we condense those 6, there are only 2 things that really need to be removed from the mind, and those are called Raga and Dvesha. Our attachment to things that we find favorable is Raga, and our aversion to things that we find unfavorable is Dvesha. It is because of these 2 tendencies that we commit Punya and Papa, and it is because of that committing Punya and Papa that we accrue karma and are therefore born again and again in order to exhaust that karma, thereby creating the cycle that we call samsara. So the root of samsara is this raga and dvesha. So if we can remove those raga and dvesha and make our mind pure, we will have progressed a very good deal in our human life. So the point of doing these kshetra yatras and tirtha yatras, we must check ourselves when we do these yatras to check whether or not these doshas are reducing in our mind. That is why even in Mahabharata, Bhishma tells Yudhishthira, there is one tirtha, having bathed in, one will attain amritatva. So there is one tirtha that if one bathes in that tirtha, they will attain amritatva. Yatra devascha vedascha pavitram kritsnam ekatam vrajet tan manasam tirtham tatra snatva amrito bhavet. This is the shloka that Bhishma Pitamaha tells in Mahabharata. So there is one kshetra called the Manasa Tirtha. There is one tirtha called the Manasa Tirtha that one should bathe in if he wishes to get amritatva, immortality. And what is the nature of that tirtha? The Vedas, the exceedingly pure Vedas that teaches about punya karmas and the paramartha tattva of Brahman. Those Vedas, all the devatas that one can conceive of, all these auspicious things, pavitram kritsnam, all auspicious things, find unity in that one tirtha, and that is the Manasa Tirtha, a pure mind. This is to say that a pure mind is as pure as the Vedas. A pure mind is as pure as the Devatas. A pure mind is as pure as anything else that you can think of in this cosmos